Hi, hello, and welcome to another interesting session on electromagnetic field theory and waves. In today's session, we'll discuss the magnetic field intensity due to an infinite length of the conductor and also due to a finite length conductor. So, let's get started. First, we'll derive the expression for the magnetic field intensity due to an infinitely long straight conductor. Here we'll take an infinitely long straight conductor which is present along the z-axis. So this is the z-axis and the infinitely long straight conductor is present between minus z to plus z on the z-axis. It is carrying a current of I amperes. Here we need to calculate the magnetic field intensity at the point P. So P is at a distance of R from the origin or from this current carrying conductor. So we'll consider another point 1, which is at this point we have the differential length of the conductor dl. So the distance between the origin and the point dl is z, and the distance between the dl and point P we denote it as capital R. So these are the terms which we are going to use here. Now from the previous diagram only we can take this one. So this is the point P and this is the point DL. So DL is along the Z axis. So we can write the value of DL as DZ into AZ. So multiply with I on both sides, we get IDL is equal to I into DZ into AZ. Now R is the distance between DL and the point P. So you can write this as the difference of both of these two. Sorry, I have written rho here. So this is R and rho, both are the same. So R is equal to rho into A rho minus Z into AZ. So to find the unit vector AR, which is equal to the vector R divided by magnitude of R. So this is the vector R, rho A rho minus Z AZ. And magnitude of R, we need to simply square these coefficients, rho square plus Z square under root. So AR is equal to rho A rho minus Z AZ divided by rho square plus Z square under root. Next, to find the cross product of DL and AR. So we can use the determinant form. DL cross AR is equal to A rho, A phi, AZ. Now here the values of DL, if you see here, DL is having only the component of AZ. So there is no component of AX and AY. So in place, A rho and A phi. So in place of A rho and A phi we can put zeros, and in place of AZ put DZ. Next, to write AR, AR is having component only along A rho. So it is having components along rho and Z. So we have here we have rho and A rho and AZ component. There is no A phi component. So in place of A rho we can put rho. There is no A phi component, so put 0 here. So in place of AZ we can put minus Z. So the same term, the same equation, we put the coefficients here. And if you simplify this, we get minus A phi into minus rho into dz. So minus minus becomes plus. So we have rho into dz into A rho. So for the cross product, we can just neglect this R term for convenience. So write IDL cross AR is equal to IAZ cross rho DZ A rho divided by under root of rho square plus Z square. So to find H, we need to simply integrate this equation. So H is equal to integral of IDL cross AR by 4 pi R square. So this is the equation we got from the Biot-Savart law. So this will be the same. IDL in place of AR we need to write R, the vector R divided by magnitude of R, and 4 pi R square is the same. So you can cancel one R here, so we get IDL by 4 pi R cube. So this is IdZ rho AZ cross A rho divided by 4 pi. In place of magnitude of R we need to put rho square plus Z square whole cube. So here we get I into rho into dz into a phi by 4 pi rho square plus z square whole power 3 by 2. So we can, from the diagram we can write the equation of tan theta, which is equal to z divided by rho, or cross multiply we get z is equal to rho into tan theta. So differentiate on both sides, we get dz is equal to rho into secant square theta into d theta. So the same equation, if we square on both sides, we get z square is equal to rho square tan square theta. So use all of these substitutions in the previous equation. Therefore h will be equal to I into rho secant square theta d theta into a phi divided by 4 pi into rho square plus z square whole power 3 by 2. So here we have rho and rho, so we get rho square secant square theta a phi into d theta divided by 4 pi into rho square. In place of z square we can write rho square tan square theta whole power 3 by 2. So here we can take rho square common for both of these two terms, and we have power 3 by 2 also. So we get I into rho square into secant square theta into a phi into d theta divided by 4 pi into rho square. Now here we have power of 3 by 2, so here also we need to put in the power as 3 by 2. Secant square theta power 3 by 2. This 2 and 2 will get cancelled. So we have rho cube here. Here also secant square theta whole power 3 by 2. This 2 and 2 is cancelled. So we have secant cube theta. So rho square and rho square will be cancelled. So one rho is left in the denominator. Secant square theta, secant square is cancelled. One more secant theta is left in the denominator. So 1 by secant theta we can write it as cos theta. So cos comes to the numerator. So we have integral of I cos theta d theta by 4 pi rho into a phi. Now here we have changed the limits of z to theta. So earlier the limits of z were between minus infinity to plus infinity. Now we need to change the limits of z into theta. So z is equal to rho tan theta. So from this, theta will be equal to tan inverse of z by rho. So limits of z are between minus infinity to plus infinity. So put z is equal to minus infinity in place of this z. So we get theta is equal to minus pi by 2. Put z is equal to plus infinity, we get theta is equal to plus pi by 2. Now substitute both of these two as the upper and lower limits in the previous equation. Therefore, h is equal to I cos theta, integral of I cos theta d theta by 4 pi rho into a phi between the limits minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. Here I by 4 pi rho, these terms are constants, so we can put them outside the integral. I by 4 pi rho integral of cos theta d theta into a phi. Limits are minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. So integrate this cos theta, we get sin theta. Now apply the limits as minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. So we get I by 4 pi rho sin pi by 2 minus sin of minus pi by 2 into a phi. So sin pi by 2 is 1 minus of minus 1 into a phi. So this is 2 I by 4 pi rho into a phi. Cancel 2 and 2, we get I divided by 2 pi rho into a phi amperes per meter. So this is the final expression for magnetic field intensity due to an infinite current carrying conductor which is located along the z-axis between minus infinity to plus infinity. Next we will see the magnetic field intensity due to a straight conductor which is having a finite length. So in the previous derivation we have considered as the conductor is of infinite length. Now here we will take a conductor which is having a finite length. So this conductor is also placed along the z-axis. One end is at z1, the other end of the conductor is at z2. And here we will consider a differential element dl which is located at a distance of z from the origin. So dl can be written as dz into az as it is along the z-axis. So we can simply start the derivation from this step. The limits of z were minus infinity to plus infinity in the previous case. But here, as the conductor is of finite length, we can simply replace the limits minus infinity to plus infinity with z1 to z2. So h is equal to integral I cos theta d theta a phi by 4 pi rho between the limits z1 to z2. So here also I by 4 pi rho, these are the constant terms, so put them outside the integral. Integral of cos theta d theta a phi between the limits z1 to z2. Again integral of cos theta is sin theta. So apply the limits z1 to z2. Now we have also used z is equal to rho tan theta, and theta, from this we get theta is equal to tan inverse of z by rho. Now apply the upper and lower limits. Theta 1 is equal to, now here the conductor is of a finite length. It is located between z1 and z2. So to find the lower limit theta 1, put z1 in place of this equation. So theta 1 is equal to tan inverse z1 by rho. We'll assume this as alpha 1. Next theta 2 is equal to tan inverse of z2 by rho. We'll take this as alpha 2. So therefore h is equal to I by 4 pi rho into sin theta between the limits alpha 1 to alpha 2 into a phi. So this is also equal to I by 4 pi rho into sine of alpha 2 minus sine of alpha 1 into a phi. So this is the final equation for the magnetic field intensity due to a current carrying conductor which is of finite length. So that's it. Thank you.